last Test match when he had an off match. But that apart, he's got a remarkable record already. It's only his 8th Test match. He's collected 36 wickets. And he comes in now to Gooch. And that's his problem, as it was there. An over-pitch ball on the leg stump. And both Gooch and Robinson are very powerful in that area. I think it was estimated that about 80% of England's runs came on the leg side up at Birmingham, making that very big total. And he's yorked him. There's the ball pitched up straight through Robinson's defence. Good fast yorker, knocking back the off stump, and England lose Robinson with 20 on the board. He goes bowl McDermott for 3, and as you would expect, there'll be an array of slips and gullies for David Gower at the start of his innings. Stroked away quite beautifully. Lovely, an elegant shot there as over from Gower to see him safely away. Picks up 2 for it. It completes McDermott's over.
So Australia and England level pegging here. England 23 for 1. And the quick bowlers going pretty well, but a change at the top end and a debut for the new young Australian bowler, Dave Gilbert.
Yeah, the first runs off him. Gooch was aiming it away square of the wicket on the offside. Might be an indication that he is a little quicker than he appears, that the ball flew a little finer than that. It's a very good delivery. It escaped the clutches of Border and Ritchie and Wood and everyone else who was rushing back. That was very well bowled by McDermott.
Gower in all sorts of trouble. One hand off the bat. He doesn't know where the ball's gone. And it's just lobbed over the despairing chase of Alan Border.
No ball and 4. It's getting a little bit of insult to the injury. 50 comes up for England, 52 for 1. And Gower's already caught Gooch.
And Lawson from the pavilion end to Graham Gooch. That's a lovely shot through it off. It'll race away for 4 runs. That's catchable level. Couple of gullies there, and could well have been curtains for David. That's the opposition balcony there. Shot of view on both of them. Well, he goes 4 for it, but I don't think David Gower will be over-thrilled about that one. That ball came onto him a lot quicker than he imagined it would. Well, that's wafted through there again. No third man, it's 4 runs. David Gower again taking life in his hands.
The trouble with this shot, it's neither a cut nor a defensive stroke. It's just a little push away from the body with the bat angled, and it keeps floating through that area. But it's almost as though David Gower said, well, there's nothing I can do about this shot. It's just part of me. It gets me some runs and it gets me out occasionally.
McDermott coming back at this pavilion end, coming on in place of Lawson. We're fairly lashed into that. Foot nowhere near it. And no third man once again. So David Gower probably thinking this is his lucky day. And this is a bowler we haven't seen on the Test match scene before. This is Murray Bennett, one of the changes in the Australian lineup today. Gooch to face. And just help that round the corner. Going to be one short of 100 so far. That takes him under 99. We haven't in this series on the first day had 100 scored before lunch. 96 from the Australians in the first test. It's the best. It's going to make certain the 100's up by lunchtime. A legitimate sweep this time from Graham Gooch. Brings up a single, brings England exactly on to 100 at lunch. 100 for one, the wicket to go down, that of Tim Robinson.
That's a great start for England, and both Gower and Gooch were looking in commanding form up to that luncheon score of 100 for one. We pick up play now in the very third over after lunch. 4 runs have been added. Craig McDermott, who bowled with plenty of pace in the first session, is coming in now. Taking strike is Graham Gooch.
And that's beaten mid-off. Fielditch in pursuit. There'll be an easy 3. Might even get to the rope, which it does. 4 more to Gooch.
Bennett to Gower. Gower's just sizing up the left arm spinner. Size him up to the extent of realising there's no man at long on. That's a good shot. Half century for David Gower. Already some good touch. 50 from 64 balls, 7 boundaries. It's his 26th half century, and he's hit 1100s as well. And he's having a terrific season against the Australians. Well placed. Perfectly positioned for the stroke, and he hit it with precision straight between the 2 men on the offside. Graham Gooch goes to 52.
Gilbert to Gower. Lovely forcing shot of the back foot by Gower for 4. Gower at his very best there. Been lucky so many times with the weather here at the start of the Oval Test. It's another lovely day. Sort of day that everybody's been waiting for such a long time. Bennett and to Gooch. That's the short one that Gooch has been waiting for. He makes no mistake again. Placed it ideally there between cover and backup point for 4. And Dave Gilbert gets a break at this pavilion end, and Geoff Lawson comes to take over. Oh, lovely stroke, lent into that again, stroked it through the offside for 4 more. And again, that brings the 2 batsmen level, both on 72.
Bennett to Gower. That's safe. McDermott, the fielder, 3 more to Gower. Wild throw from McDermott, and 2,000 runs in Test cricket against Australia for David Gower. Not many people have done that.
So England already approaching 200. Going along steadily at about 4 runs and over.
Too short. It's been the problem with the bowlers for much of the time, since Lance Lawson has kept the ball up more. Now, that was too short from Bennett. And the 200 comes up from England. 203 for 1.
Alan Border using this 15-minute period, himself and Murray Bennett, to give his quick bowlers an extra rest. But his accuracy's all awry, and that's 100 for David Gower. Another Test match century for the England captain, and life is pretty good for him at the moment.
And the 200 partnership coming up in the last over before tea. Yes, a great partnership and a splendid innings from David Gower to follow on his double century in the Edgbaston Test match. Gooch, 94 not out. He's gone along very well. He's played some crashing drives and 1 or 2 very good hook shots as well. Here's the first ball of the second over after tea. 3 runs have been added. Graham Gooch is on 97 and McDermott is coming in to bowl him.
Full pitch, and that's just what Graham Gooch wanted, because that will surely take him to 100. No problem at all. It's over the ropes now. And a great relief for Graham Gooch. Long wait to make his first 100 against Australia. Something of a mystery that it hasn't happened before. But he finally goes to 101 out of 227 for 1. 194 balls, 13 fours. His 5th Test 100 in all, but as we've already said many times, this is his first against Australia. McDermott again. Pitch driven quite beautifully again through the covers. No need for anybody to move there. 4 runs. So McDermott can't get it right. Either half volleys are too short.
But an exemplary cover drive by Graham Gooch.
It's a very good shot. And he's done that extremely well. It's an improvised stroke. Nonetheless, it went very quickly. So Border has taken off Vessels, his part-time bowler, and brought on his spinner Murray Bennett, and the result has been the same. Fortunately, this is not the weather for log fires. Lawson now preparing to come in from the pavilion end. 288 for 1, and Gower's on 129. Shot. A magnificent stroke. Timing and placement. Nice little march. And the bird in the white cap has fixed all that. It's a delightful scene at the moment. No one needing to wear sweaters out there. Packed house. Must be something around 19,000 in all, but about 12,500 seats sold. The rest are members. Lawson to Gooch. Once again the slow ball. Up comes the 300 for England for the loss only of Tim Robinson. 134 to Gooch, 135 to Gower.
Bennett again. Well, that's a short one which you can't bowl to Gooch. With 140 odd on the board, it's 4 more, 320 up, and that means a 300 partnership. Golden days for English cricket this summer. Lawson then continues round the wicket. Gooch on 147. Well, another fine shot. Excellent way to go through to a 150. 151 for Graham Gooch. Those runs coming out of a total of 328 for 1. Gilbert to Gower. Oh, a cracking shot. Gower enjoying that, as indeed the crowd have. So he too goes onto another landmark. 151 out of a 349 for 1 score. And nothing better seen all day from the bat of Gower than that beautiful cover drive. His 20th for Graham Gooch to face. His 162, of course, is his high score ever in a test match. He's got the slow left arm of Bennett to cope with now. Oh, it's a beautiful shot. Just gave himself that little amount of room to pick his spot on the offside.
Graham Gooch has simply taken Murray Bennett apart today. If he puts the fielders on the leg side, he does that and hits the ball through the off. That's in the air.
It's in the air all right, Bob, but Adelbert thinks it might have gone for 6. But just dropping short of the ropes. The fielder had been back on the boundary. He would certainly have had a good chance of taking the catch. There he goes, all the way back. So back comes McDermott. This time from the far end here, the Vauxhall end.
Got him. Goldcourt. Murray Bennett, I think it needed 2 goes to grab it. But he did. It went at terrific pace off the middle of Gower's bat. Bennett caught it at gully. And Craig McDermott has his 2nd wicket. What a marvellous innings from David Gower. Fully appreciated by the capacity crowd here at the Oval today. A delightful exhibition.
Great ovation for a great player. David Gower leaves the arena after creating a little bit of history. been a marvellous summer for him after he came through that grueling test early in the season. And this is how it all ended. Ball played very firmly into the gully. Murray Bennett, a specialist gully fieldsman, taking at least 2 attempts to gather it safely. But it hasn't gone back to the turf. And Mike Gatting, for the second test match running, comes in after a very long wait indeed.
89 overs have gone. Last one coming up now, and Murray Bennett to bowl it, and to bowl it to Gatting. And he's caught him. With some hesitation. Border has given Bennett his first test wicket in England.
Total of 158. Botham's 5 overs this morning have only cost 6 runs. Replaced by Richard Ellison. Went for 20 yesterday. Bowled, thought exceptionally well at the start of his spell. Had the ball swing quite considerably.
Well caught. Tim Robinson at point, and Bennett goes. A flashing square drive. He didn't quite get over it. And it was an excellent catch by Tim Robinson, just fractionally behind point.
Yes, that was certainly a very good catch. Hit it pretty hard. You can see it there flashing away well to his left, above his head. And this is not the easiest ground in the world for sighting the ball against the background of spectators, and he caught that, made it look pretty easy. But that's pretty lucky for Bennett. He's played pretty well this morning. He's been in no real trouble, but just got a bit too ambitious there and launched himself at it without really leaning into the shot. Just fractionally leaning back, which allowed the ball to go up in the air.
Ellison now to Lawson. 3 slips in the gully. Good shot from Jeffrey Lawson. Here's Richard Ellison bowling to Richie. Greg Ritchie has gone on to be top scorer in this innings. Not a good performance from the young right-hander from Queensland. Goes on to 40, total to 190 for 7. Taylor's coming on again at the pavilion end. He's the only one without a wicket against his name. Alan Lamb again. There's been some good fielding this morning. In fact, this is a good fielding team. No weak links out there. Gooch, who's down in the deep, has a strong throwing arm and can catch close to the wicket. Robinson is very athletic, keeps himself extremely fit, I understand. Alan Lamb at gully is quite brilliant. And there's Botham and Gatting, both excellent close to the wicket catchers. Can field anywhere for that matter. And that's the sort of thing they pull off. And Les Taylor has picked up his first test match, first test wicket in this innings. Just what he needed to give him a little bit of confidence and further to impress the selectors.
This demonstrates the superhuman powers that Ian Botham was given at birth. Hands on knees. Look at that reaction. Absolutely fantastic as he plucks that out of the air. Ian Botham has a remarkable record in test match cricket with both bat and ball, and also in the field. In his 79th match, that's his 90th catch. And is he pleased about it?
Jeff Lawson has no need to feel aggrieved at that. It was a brilliant piece of cricket to give Taylor his wicket, and just underlines what we were saying about the strength of the England fielding. Botham has taken some brilliant catches, pulled off some brilliant things over the years. And that brings in Craig McDermott with the Australian total 192 for 8. That's flown from Craig McDermott's hip. Whether it was intercepted by the edge of the bat or not, as the England players seem to think, is another matter.
I think this was definitely a chance. Taylor getting the line just right. Looked like inside edge onto thigh pad. Edmonds takes the catch, but then the ball slips out of his grasp. There it goes.
Well, I think from that replay and that angle, we can say that it definitely found the edge. And away goes McDermott on his way to the pavilion. And then back he comes. Inside edge, thigh pad, Edmonds' hands. McDermott goes to the pavilion, and suddenly it's a reprieve. Well, I didn't get round in that little run through of the brilliant fielders to say how well Philippe Edmonds has been fielding this summer, but that is just about the only blemish we've seen. He's been given the chance to make up for that now, coming on at the Vauxhall end. He's going to bowl left arm around the wicket to Greg Ritchie. There's a good solid blow from Craig McDermott, batting with his Queensland teammate Greg Ritchie. McDermott, after that reprieve where Edmonds dropped him, just adds a little bit of insult by smashing the same bowler straight down the ground.
The England captain, with 8 wickets down, will be thinking about that follow-on decision. He has the option of making Australia bat again if they don't reach 265. And in my opinion, he can then shut the door on Australia and begin celebrating regaining the Ashes. There's just a chink of light for Australia if he decides to bat again.
It's well taken single. Single breaks up with 200, which again a little bit of problem with the bowler. Slight collision, but I'm quite sure it was accidental. And Edmonds decided no to bowl to Ritchie with 2 men out. Long on under, long off. There's trouble there if he hits the wicket. He's just recovered in time and got back. McDermott backing up, slipping about 5 or 6 yards out of his ground.
Craig McDermott ends up on his backside, slipping on this very dry strip. And a direct hit for Robinson could have caused him acute embarrassment.
little bit of turn there and hammered away square. Good shot there by Ritchie. Ball just fractionally short. Lift and turn. Edmonds there regretting that. Was to him a fairly simple chance, the first ball McDermott received from Taylor. And that's a big hoik. He's middled that one all right. Much more effective style than we saw before. It's well over the ropes for 6. That's right, that indeed is a very big hit here at the Oval. It's a long boundary out there. And everything just dropped absolutely right there for McDermott. And could be trouble if he hits, he's got to go. Yes. Great hesitation there, and that really was thrown away. Ritchie came, McDermott hesitated, saw Ritchie come in, decided to go, but if the throw was anything like good, he had to be run out. McDermott was a long time before, in fact, he decided to go. And when he did go, it was just too late.
Ritchie takes a single. Botham removes his sweater. Now Gilbert has to face the England all-rounder. Gilbert is on 1, 241 for 9. That's the end of the Australian innings. Gilbert plays on to Botham. Ritchie remains 64 not out. Australia all out for 241, and David Gower has the option now of enforcing the follow-on if he so wishes. Gower and the groundsman Harry Bryn is coming across towards him. There's no sign from Gower, so I anticipate that he'll be asking Australia to follow on, and it'll be a question of Alan Border deciding which roller he might want. And he's received the signal from Alan Border, so Australia are to follow on. Greg Ritchie finishing 64 not out in a total of 241. It was a fine performance from Ritchie, who's grown in stature in every innings he's played in this Test series, but that basically is a disappointing scorecard so far as the Australians are concerned. Everyone got a bit of a start, and no one other than Ritchie and perhaps Border, who was unlucky yesterday, were able to go on with a 241 the total, and the bowling figures for England reflect their superiority. Botham 3 for 64 and a wicket in just over 6 overs. Taylor 1, Ellison 2 and Edmonds 2, and John Embry, who I thought bowled very well, 1 for 48 from 19 overs and 7 maidens, and that left the Australians 223 runs behind, and it gave David Gower the option of enforcing the follow-on, which he did, in my opinion, quite sensibly, and Wood and Hilditch once again were the Australian openers. Well, they added 12, and one of the things Gower would have taken into consideration in enforcing the follow-on was the chance of some bad weather, and in fact the rain and bad light then caused a postponement of 155 minutes, which meant that play would go on to 7 o'clock. The Australians had added 12 up to that point. We pick it up now after the umpires have taken them back on the field. Taylor is coming in to bowl to Wood, and the batsman has made 5.
Short, hooked away, and just a little bit slow picking that up initially. It's not a very easy ground to pick him up out there on the outfield. If it set off immediately, there was a half a chance he might have snaffled that.
So Graham Wood still prepared to live dangerously. This one dropping just short of Ellison. Which would have been a very embarrassing dismissal for the Western Australian opening batsman.
Well, Graham Wood took a single. He's down at Botham's end now, and Botham, of course, will have 2 men back for it. Got one quite fine and one square. And he's pulled it on. And so many played-ons we've seen in this match, quite incredibly. It's another one out of Botham, and the Graham Wood goes. It's 13 for 1. And Botham getting ever nearer to Dennis Lilly's haul of Test match wickets.
It's another excellent piece of bowling by Botham. Wood is stranded on the back foot, expecting the bouncer. Botham pitches it up more. And similarly with David Gilbert's dismissal, the batsman dragging it onto his stumps.
Just the one man back at long leg for a couple of vessels. 2 short legs instead. It's a good delivery.
Botham really charging in, and a testing first delivery for Vessels. Right up into that rib cage again.
Taylor to Hilditch. Oh, would you believe it? Straight into Gower's hands. Comfortable catch. Hilditch looked in amazement there. Couldn't really wonder how it got there. But it did, and he's gone, and Australia 16 for 2.
Well, he didn't quite get that. He hit it away in front of square, but Gower will get it. They'll take 3. Caught. Very good catch by Paul Dowton, going right across in front of first slip. It went through low. Don't think that Kepler Wessels will mark that down as one of his finest shots of the summer. It was very, very wide. And Botham has picked up another wicket.
Yeah, a very fine catch this, because I don't think it would have carried to first slip. But really, that's a pretty poor shot with Australia in the position they are. That ball must have been 2 feet wide nearly. And you can see it would have certainly probably just fallen short of first slip. So Paul Downton making the right decision there to keep going for that one, and a pretty good catch.
Both in the border.
He's hit that away beautifully over Edmund's head. And both of them coming around the wicket now, just giving him the chance to assist it on its way. Willem has strike to Ellison. It's 51 for 3. Out, must be out. Very well bowled by Ellison. He had the wood on Willem all the way through, beating him outside the off stump and on the off stump with the away swinger. And then that one looked as though it either came back or went straight on. And absolutely plumb. 11 more runs added up to the close after
Sides on the attack, and the more the bowlers attack, the more the batsman can retaliate. Greg Ritchie has gone driving a little ambitiously at Richard Ellison's away swinger. It was really quite wide, but Greg Ritchie hasn't been in touch this morning, hasn't quite found the pace, and that is the breakthrough that England were after.
Very good piece of bowling. I have a feeling it may have pitched just outside off stump. Certainly drew him into the stroke. And another very good piece of bowling from Richard Ellison, who, with the confidence of Edgbaston behind him, has improved leaps and bounds every time he picks up the ball. he looks to be a much sharper bowler than we've seen before.
One problem there was the length. It wasn't really a driving length.
Wayne Phillips, the dashing left-hander, joins his skipper, but 71 for 5 is a very, very dismal sight.
Well, that was the one that swung and he got it offline. It's been chipped away to the leg side boundary. Excellent pickup shot by Phillips.
MJK Smith bespeckled on the left, Mike Brearley, Roger Knight and Lord Edward Dexter.
Gets around that Dexter fella. Both of them in again. And he's gone. There's the edge. Simple, straightforward catch. To Paul Downton. Wayne Phillips has gone. Both of them have struck yet another blow. And it's 96 for 6.
So Alan Border's last recognised batting partner departs on a rather sad note, because it's been a good series for Wayne Phillips, but he was nowhere near getting good contact on that delivery. And Downton celebrating again.
A very happy man indeed. Gone over to short leg now for Bennett to join Edmonds. Very seldom you see any Test cricketer these days in tinted glasses. Nicely away, Bennett. Nice little single. Tucked very confidently off his legs. Move in, try to keep Border down at this end, prevent the single, and he's gone. Both of them scored him. Ellison's taken another wicket, and that surely is it. Border out for 58, 114 for 7. Both of them making no mistake in the slips there, as that was nudged in his direction by Border.
It'll be a losing series for this man, but he's come out with it with tremendous credit.
And nice to see the whole of the England side applauding Alan Border on his way up these famed pavilion steps. Lawson and off the mark with 2. That's a good stroke. 4 runs. Well pitched that, very firmly hit through mid-on there by Lawson. And one of the ball boys quickly in action down at the Vauxhall end.
Lawson falls to the outswinger. Ellison has bowled it perfectly this morning. He got Border with a beautiful piece of bowling, and now Geoffrey Lawson with the outswinger that started on or just outside off stump and then kept going.
The swing bowling of Ellison is proving a very useful variation for this England team. And both of them banging it in one end. Richard Ellison swinging it, pitching well up to the bottom. Of course, everything's going in England being found. That's what happens when a team is riding on the crest of a wave.
Craig McDermott.
Murray Bennett's having a problem with it seemed to me to be his glasses. It's just a question of perhaps he needs another pair, not quite as dark as the ones he had on before. And I think that's what's happened. He sent back the dark glasses because it is so dark out there, and he's just got an ordinary pair of spectacles on at the moment. Here's Ellison from the Vauxhall end. It's in the air, but it's safe. Once again, that big outswinger from Richard Ellison. Sure if it was better than the one he caught the other day to get rid of Lawson. It was certainly brilliant, but you can stack both of them up as two of the finest catches you'll see in a whole era of Test match cricket. Botham has just caught McDermott off Ellison, and it's 129 for 9.
So it's the old outswinger. And Ian Botham, who stands so close, has jumped like a salmon or a porpoise high to his left and just plucked that out of the sky with two hands. And when the bat flails as fast as that, the ball goes like a rocket. And the man has done it again. What a wonderful match he's having. What a wonderful series. And it is just great to see him in such wonderful form.
And the new batsman coming out now is Dave Gilbert. Richard Ellison, 17 overs, 3 maidens, 5 for 46. Murray Bennett now having removed his dark glasses. Caught and bowled. Bennett is out. Gilbert remains unbeaten. And England have won the Test match. They have regained the Ashes. The margin, an innings and 94 runs. Crowd just hanging back in response to the request from the ground authorities to allow the players to get off the field. And then they're very welcome to come along and cheer their heroes, as well they might, because this has been a conclusive victory. England 464, Australia 241 and 129. An innings and 94, and David Gower must be one of the happiest men in the sporting world at this moment. Yes, David Gower had every cause to be really delighted about that scorecard. The Australians very disappointing. Border 58, he held them together as he has done all the way through this series. Double-figure scores only from Wayne Phillips and Murray Bennett, and the rest a dismal performance, all out for 129, and that is reflected in the English bowling figures, with Botham 3 wickets from only 17 overs, Taylor 2, and Ellison 17 overs, 3 maidens, 5 for 46. And David Gower, the winning captain, had every cause to be delighted, and he remains so at the presentation.
David, this has been a really historic day, as it was in 1953. You're looking very pensive. You're looking a bit pensive. You want really to be very exhilarated, should you not?
I think, yes, Peter, it's safe to say that underneath this pensive exterior is really quite a happy man here. I'm sorry about 1953. I was just a little too young by about 4 years to actually appreciate that, but certainly from my point of view, I'm far happier to be here today than I was this time last year.
I'll come back on that in a moment, if I may. Alan, it's always more difficult for the losing captain to talk on these occasions, but you've got a lot of friends here.
Well, I thought...
David, I've not heard such an ovation for a touring captain ever.
Well, I think, yes, to be fair, Alan fully deserves it. It typifies, I think, the way this series has been played and the spirit that's been shown throughout the entire 6 matches, the friendship that we have off the field, at least for the Australians, and I'm glad the crowd have appreciated that.
Right,
well, as David said, the series was a fantastic one. I think cricket was the winner, even though England have come out 3-1 on top. I think it was a justifiable result. England started to put holes in our batting over the last few Test matches, and we succumbed to the pressure that they applied to us, and they fully deserved the 3-1 result. But it was a really great series.
What do you see, David, as the turning point in the series?
I think, obviously, the last Test match at Edgbaston, where we managed to clutch the victory there in spite of the weather. I think that put enough pressure on in our favour for this match here, just to keep the screws turned and to make sure the Ashes didn't suddenly slip back towards Australia again.
Do you see it the same way, Alan?
Well, the start of our demise was probably Manchester, where we, luckily got out with a draw there, and then the England side started to play very, very good cricket from that point on, and we were always struggling. But certainly Edgbaston, it looked as though we were going to get out again with the draw, and England managed a fitting result there, and have carried on here at the Oval. So I think it was probably a little bit earlier than David mentioned. It was probably in Manchester where things started to go a bit astray for us.
David, it's a funny old game, isn't it? You were swamped by the... You were swamped by the...
Just going down.
Swamped by the West Indies last year. Tide turned in India. You were struggling to get runs in May in wet weather, and everything's gone right, hasn't it, for a long time?
Well, yes, actually, as the gentleman downstairs has just said, history sums that up. I mean, I think we all know very well that this game has very many ups and downs, whether they be personal or as regards sides. And you just accept the good times and enjoy them, and the bad times you just try and forget. You play through them looking for the good times again. So we're on a good time now. I'm delighted, very, very happy indeed. And I'm just looking forward to enjoying it now for the next 3 or 4 hours this afternoon, Samuel.
And David, I'd like to make a little presentation to you. I have to say that it is a replica, the Ashes. And that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Two very good captains there, each of whom has played a great part in the series and will do so in Test match series to come. Alan Border, he'd be very, very disappointed at the way things have gone, but one thing I can tell you is that although the Kangaroo might seem to be in a little bit of trouble at the moment as regards the Lion, I can assure you that every Australian will be looking for the next couple of years to try and find some way back to regain those Ashes when England next come to Australia. For the moment, though, it's enough to congratulate David Gower on a splendid series and to say that England were justifiably able to be classed at the end the better side, a brilliant performance.